Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now today we're testing the Nvidia RTX 3060 laptop GPU in GTA 5 Enhanced Edition. This is a part of a gigabyte laptop that I have with 16 gigabytes of DDR4 at 3200 MHz and in pairing with an i5-11400H which has 6 cores and 12 threads, so nothing too fancy today. We'll jump into the settings first of all. As you can see, we have the 3060 laptop GPU here, 6 gigs of GDDR6. For the settings, I started to play around with things before I recorded anything, and I found that we can use basically the high RT preset and then everything else set to very high for a nice combination of performance and visuals. I wanted to target 60 FPS and I also wanted to leave all the newly added ray tracing options on, otherwise it doesn't really look all that enhanced. So as you can see here, all the ray tracing options are enabled. I did stick with TAA at first and then I thought no, we'll go with DLAA because it does look better. Here are these settings then. Post effects is set to normal because I don't like motion blur, but let's get into the gameplay. So here we are then. The 11400H will be the limiting factor in some instances if you keep an eye on the performance metrics on screen here. Now I think this boosts to like 4.5 GHz. It's not going to do that on all cores, that is the single core speed. It can hit about 85 to 90 degrees and consume less than 50 watts of power. The 3060 6 gig is an 80 watt GPU, at least according to the Afterburner overlay. Doesn't really exceed 80 watts here. The laptop is plugged in, however, and set to the maximum performance preset under the battery power options. As we can see, to start with, I think it's a pretty good effort from GTA 5 on the 3060. Well, it's a decent effort from the GPU as opposed to the game. The hardware is of course the driving force behind the performance here. Let's pull up here, lovely bit of parking, see if we can drop our frame rate a little bit by equipping this spicy potato. We'll just throw it at a bunch of cars over there. There we go, still holding pretty strong, but I am in a, well, not very intensive area. Okay, let's get out of here before the cops show up. Right, here we go, hot white, oh dear. Okay, I did not think that. Oh no, are we on fire? I think we're good. Oh no, we're definitely on fire. Right, we're going to have to bail out. Quick, are we properly on fire? Yeah, right, get out. There we go. Oh, okay. So here we are outside the hospital for obvious reasons. Here we're going to need ourselves a vehicle. Hello, sir. I think we'll select this one. Where are you going? Okay, maybe not. Alright, the frame rate's still holding up pretty well. Around about 100 FPS, but the averages will be on screen. I think overall we're probably looking at somewhere closer to 85, 90, maybe even less than that. Oh no, look, it's this car. It's come back to haunt me after it's just blown me up. Let's just take this for a little bit of a spin. So again, you can see the GPU power consuming around 80 watts here. You may see dips and drops with the GPU utilization, and that is because in certain areas the CPU, well like here for example, where our GPU utilization drops to 85, 90%, the CPU is the limiting factor here. A 6-core, 12-thread i5-11400H will struggle a little bit in this one. So it's probably good that it's not paired with anything higher end. Of course, at higher resolutions, it's going to do a decent job of maintaining full utilization. But here we're playing at 1080p because that's the best choice for this card. I'm surprised I haven't crashed my car yet. Oh, there we go, taking out a couple of road signs. Yeah, honestly, oh dear, I've pressed the wrong button. That was not good. I don't have much luck with that car. It seems to cause me issues every time I get in one. Ooh, this is better. Let's move to a bit more of a demanding area now and see how our frame rate holds up. Alright, so here we are just climbing the grassy mountain here. Now this area can be quite intensive on our frame rates. You may see a few dips and drops to the mid 70s, sometimes lower. This is not going to be good for the video's bitrate, I tell you that. All this grass is going to make it look like a blurry mess. But I recorded in pretty high quality today, internally actually. My capture card was playing about, so the averages on screen will be taken from benchmarks run before any recording, but I think you can say take 2 or 3 FPS at most off the figures that you're seeing from the overlay here. It's actually still holding up pretty well though with this hardware combination in this area. Now we're going to switch to the highest settings that I'd personally use, and we're going to implement a little bit of DLSS as well, which looks pretty decent in this game. We haven't overridden it with DLSS 4, this is just the default version of DLSS that this game comes with. So once again we have ray tracing enabled, but this time everything is set to very high. This is essentially the very high RT preset with post FX turned off, again because it eliminates all the motion blur and stuff that I don't really like. We're here in one of my favourite areas. Now, this is a little less intensive than driving around Los Santos. We're going to need to borrow a vehicle, and I know for a fact there is a police station up here, so we're going to go and take one of the patrol cars. I know people have mixed opinions on the enhanced edition of GTA 5, but I think it looks good, especially in certain areas and at certain times of the day-night cycle. Let's switch to first-person mode now. Here we go, look at this. I'm going to crash in about 5 seconds time, I just know it. Can we corner? Oh, lovely. A bit of handbrake around the corner there. Yeah, performance is still plus 60 frames per second, even with the very high RT preset. Of course, we have DLSS enabled and set to quality. Not going to look much different from DLAA, especially when we turn the sharpness up a little bit. Well, we're going to need to avoid the fellow officer there, don't mind me. Right, let's see if we can make our way back to town and see how the frame rate changes when we are using these graphical options. First of all, we're going to do an immense stunt jump across the railroad tracks here. Okay, that's not the landing I wanted. Oh, hello fellow stuntman. Now once again, I'm outside the hospital for obvious reasons, those reasons of which I didn't catch on the recording, unfortunately, this time around. We're going to need a car again. Oh, did I miss? Oh no. Got them, and they've conveniently driven themselves into the hospital. Perfect. I'm just going to leave you there, sir, while I borrow your vehicle. Is he alive? Yeah, just a bit of a sprain, and let's go. Yeah, the performance is still fine here. Actually, I'd suggest turning things up to very high if you don't mind using a little bit of DLSS, and I say that because you're only going to really need the quality preset in order to hit plus 60 frames per second with the very high ray tracing options in GTA 5 Enhanced Edition. We can see now that the CPU is becoming quite the bottleneck here. Our GPU is only being utilised at around 55 to 70% in this specific area, but of course laptop GPUs are only as good as the hardware that they're bundled with. We can't really do anything in terms of an upgrade here. I don't think so anyway. I'll have to check actually, maybe I can upgrade this unless it's completely soldered, in which case I can't. I can probably upgrade the RAM, but I don't think that's going to help in this situation. So we're going to finalise on a little trip to the airport. I'm still using the very high RT preset. I'd probably actually prefer playing like this as opposed to the settings I was using before. I don't mind implementing DLSS at all. I don't really think it looks that much different. It's not a huge sacrifice to make anyway. The game's still running nicely. I wouldn't really recommend turning the DLSS tier down any lower. I don't think balanced is necessary unless you want to try and hit closer to your screen's refresh rate. In this case, this laptop is actually 144 Hz, so I guess we could turn things down a little bit more, or we could just play the legacy edition of the game if we wanted better performance, of course. Right, so I've borrowed this plane. We're going to finalise with an epic stunt here. I've noticed a few swimming pools down below. I think we're going to try and land in one. I've not done this before, or at least not for a while, not since the old PS3 days. There's a pool. Can we... I think I've gone too early. Oh, I've definitely gone too early. And there we are. GTA 5 Enhanced on the RTX 3060 6GB laptop GPU in an 80-watt configuration. Runs pretty well. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one.